So to start, mouse, thank you. The Mystic Subclasses, Unearthed Arcana. I'm not going to read this all word for word, but playtest document, part of the Unearthed Arcana, yada yada yada. Use the rules for 2024 handbook, which is slightly changed from 5th edition. We've got Monk, Way of the Mystic Arts, Paladin, Oath of the Spellguard, Rogue, Magic Stealer, and a new Warlock, the Vestige Patron. Okay. Warriors of the Mystic Arts wield magic to supplement their martial skill. They harness the supernatural focus, enhance their magical and physical abilities. Monk is the other mainly neglected class. It's Monk and Rangers that really get neglected by WotC. So let's see where we are. Learn to cast spells. Fish below. 2 cantrips from the Sorcerer spell list. Don't use the Sorcerer spell list often. Yeah, Blade Ward, Thunder Clap. No one's surprised. Here's an idea. Pick something ranged as a monk, please. You're gonna need it. Actually, monks would do well with, was it Ray of Frost, the one that has the 10-foot slow, reduces someone's speed by 10 foot. Monks would really benefit from that. Level 10, you learn a sorcerer cantrip of your choice. Spell slots, shows how many spell slots you have. Gain on a long rest. So they made him a half-caster, but even worse. Because half-casters end at 5th level slots. Monks end at 4th level slot. Yeah, they're a 1/3 caster, basically. Compare and contrast with, unless it's changed and I missed it, the other half-casters, which are Rangers, which end at 5th level slot, Artificers, which end at 5th level slot, Eldritch Knight gets 5th, and the Arcane Trickster. Oh, do Eldritch and Arcane Trickster now end at 4? I thought they still ended at 5. Okay, less complaints. Never mind. Prepare a list. More spells list increases. I always add 4. Oh, you can tell how often I play this. Must be of a level for which you have spell slots, so it is once again not. Oh, I don't remember if I actually said this on screen. It's a lot of casters now say this, that for a level for which you have slots when you gain your spells. Which means if you multi-class, where you get spell slots of a higher level than you do spells, you still get now spells of that level when you level up, which it didn't used to do. There are 2 classes that I've been able to find so far that don't have that. And Eldritch Knight and Arcane Trickster do have that option. But the Warlock, who gets screwed out of everything, doesn't have it. And the Wizard doesn't have it. The Wizard tells you to refer to the chart. That's interesting. So if you want a multi-class, you gotta go Wizard first, and then your other spellcaster. Though, at the same time, Wizard is the one with the spell list that everyone wants because it's huge. So, mixed bag there. Though that probably is why they did it that way. Because Wizards have the best spell list and also learn the most number of spells. And have the best option. Well, only really option for adding to their list. Everyone else has to do things like items and spell scrolls, as I've talked about before. No, I thought Cleric also now said you gotta use the right mouse. I went and double checked that the wiki has the same thing as has the same thing in it, wording in it as the handbook. Now it's not everything. Continue to cite. But I am going to double check. Oh, for the best spells! Okay, yeah, that's different, yeah. Clerics have amazing spells too. Never mind! Tied for the best spells, that makes sense. Guidance. Monk level, place one spell on your list with another sorcerer spell for which you have spell slots. Wisdom is your spellcast ability for your sorcerer spells. Arcane focus. Multiclass. Add one third. Okay, yeah, third casters. Okay. And that is the entire. Admittedly, the first that's a big first subclass ability, but the entire thing is you get a couple you learn 3 spells and 3 cantrips. No, 2 cantrips. You can cast 2 spells at a time, or on a long rest. And you're a wisdom caster, which makes sense for monks. Keep your magical power, martial I can see something below. And martial focus and perfect balance, allowing you to convert spell slots into focus points, or convert focus points into spell slots. Converting spell slots into focus points, you can expend a spell slot to regain a number of expended focus points equal to the slot's level. It doesn't take an action. As a bonus action, you can transform unexpended focus points to recover 1 expended spell slot. The recovering spell slots table shows the cost of recovering a spell slot of a given level, and it lists minimum monk level you must be to recover a slot. You can recover a slot no higher than level 4. They really did just look at monks and say, we're gonna just give them a piece of the sorcerer class as their subclass. Because this is just a worse spell point system. Sorcery point. And your focus points, you know, are your focus point abilities are now your meta magic instead of regular meta magic. Admittedly, it's an interesting combo, but it does feel a little bit like lazy. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can place one of your attacks with the casting of one of your sorcerer cantrips that has a casting time of an action. That is potentially really powerful. If you pick the right cantrips, you can get some serious hurt on. Actually, since I have this up, we'll look at it after we finish this. Whenever you expend a focus point, use Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, or Step of the Wind. You have advantage on any saving throw you make to maintain concentration until the start of your next turn. Well, since you are a melee fighter and going to be taking hits, that's really good, because every hit you take is going to be a concentration save. This is why Magic Missile is so dangerous, even when it's cast at level 1 at higher levels. Part of it is, yes, the fact that it's auto hit unless someone casts a shield spell. But part of it is also the fact that you are expending a single level 1 slot to hit someone 3 times. Improved Mystic Fighting Style. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace 2 of the attacks with the casting of one of your level 1 or spells or 2 sorcerer spells as a casting time of an action. And I'm going to assume that that stacks with your Mystic Fighting Style. So you can cast up to a 2nd level spell and a cantrip as part of your attacks as a monk. That's actually really, really powerful. Here, let's go back to this. Sorcerer. Sorcerer spell list. So you've got a fair bit of utility here. Blade Ward is what they recommend. It is concentration. Chill Touch prevents people from healing still, right? Yep. Can't regain hit points. That includes stuff like regeneration. That includes legendary actions. So a monk being able to lock down healing is good. Oh yeah, we'll get the Sorcerer's Burst. Sorcerer's Burst is going to be good. I don't remember what Elementism is. Oh, this is basically another Prestidigitation thing. Except now, instead of taking like 4 different cantrips in order to control the elements, you can get a bunch of basic element options. Cool. Firebolt is the go-to damage-dealing spell for those that don't get Eldritch Blast, at least. Runs like Mage Hand is utility, but we're talking combat, and monks are probably going to want to focus on combat first, utility second. Utility is what casters are for. Mind Sliver. Temporary sliver the mind of a creature you see within range. Target must succeed on intelligence saving throw, or take 1d6 psychic damage, and subtract 1d4 from their next saving throw it makes before the end of your next turn. That's really good because you could Mind Sliver, Grapple. Yeah, people look at the low damage and think, eh, and then that can be a killer in a fight. Mind Sliver, Stunning Strike. Ooh. Yeah, you could get mean with that. Poison Spray's got like a secondary ability, I forgot. No, it's just a fairly high damage, but high resist attack. Yeah, Ray of Frost is the one that does a 10-foot slow, right? Yep. Just, if you're knocking targets prone, like I mentioned for the Ranger build, that can also be a nasty one. Shocking Grasp is going to be amazing against armored opponents. Here's Sorcerer's Burst. They recommend Thunderclap. This is going to be a class that doesn't... Well, actually, it can still benefit from True Strike. So, Shocking Grasp. On a hit, target takes 1d8 lightning damage. Can't make opportunity attacks. And it doesn't say in the spell, but because it is a lightning attack, you still have advantage on armored opponents, I believe. I think that's still a thing. Sorcerer's Burst, as Rippy mentioned. Hit, the target takes 1d8 damage of a type you choose. If you roll an 8 on a d8 for it, which the d8s go up as you level up, you can roll a number d8 and add it to the damage. So, you know, once you start leveling up, you're doing some damage with this if you can land the hit. And of course, it lets you pick your damage type, which things with rotating damage type are really strong because it means that, oh no, they resist poison damage like everything does. I'm gonna do psychic damage to it, or it's weak to lightning damage. So those things, that Chromatic Orb, a couple others, are just great for all-around utility. They recommend Thunderclap. Each creature within a 5-foot emanation originating from you must succeed in a Constitution saving throw or take 1d6 thunder damage. It's a good AoE for if you're surrounded, but I think some of these other spell options are probably going to give you a bit more mileage. Especially something like, as Rippy mentioned, Sorcerer's Burst, which is ranged. Well, more than 5-foot range at least. Mind Sliver. What's the other one I just said? Ray of Frost. Now, True Strike's interesting. Guided by a flash of magical insight, you make one attack with the weapon used in the spell's casting. Your fist! The attack uses your spell casting ability for the attack and damage rolls instead of strength or dex. Which, you know, for monks, hope you got an even build. If the attack deals damage, it can be radiant, or your bludgeoning damage, or piercing, or slashing if you're using, like, fist weapons. But it can stack on extra radiant damage as you level up. So True Strike ends up being a pretty good one for hitting hard. And depending on campaign, just giving you radiant option. So that's the first one. I think it's going to give monks some good options. Warrior of the Mystic Arts. I do still have mixed feelings on Watsy saying, you know what would make a good subclass for monks? The Sorcerer. And you do have the option to just go all in and generate more focus points with your spell slots. Oath of the Spellguard for Paladins. Paladins take the Oath Spellguard, sworn to prevent the innocent from wicked mages. Excuse me. Protect the innocent from wicked mages. Prevent magic from falling into villains' hands. Protect mages who use magic honorably. Are there mages who use magic honorably? Like, even Elminster, who is known as a great mage, a great good mage, didn't really act all that honorably when not stopping evil. As a magic action, you can expend one use of your Channel Divinity to forge a divine bond with a willing creature within 5 feet of you. The bond lasts for 1 hour or until you have the unconscious condition. For the duration, while the bonded creature is within your reach, so within 5 feet, maybe 10 if we're counting like a polearm, and is hit by an attack roll, you can take a reaction to add your charisma modifier, minimum of +1, to the creature's AC, possibly causing the attack to miss. You can end your divine bond at any time, no action required. If you already have a divine bond, when you forge a new one, the previous bond ends. Protect people from mages, Xaifax animal system. A bit. That's... This is very much an escort quest ability. And it's an annoying one because it means you have to keep whatever you're protecting right next to you. I can see scenarios where this is a beneficial thing. I feel like it's going to be mostly either unused or like you're kind of forcing your way to work with it. The best use of this that I can think of, which admittedly is a good use, is form a bond with a mount. You know, your horse, Pegasus, unicorn, giant fly, whatever. That works. If you're a small critter like a gnome and you're riding the barbarian, that can work. And I know what that sounds like, but that's a legitimate strategy. So it is an option. But it just feels like if you're not... Drake Warden dip could work, yes. I have in fact not tempted anyone into Potion Roulette. It's situational and you have to build around it, and if you don't build around it, it's probably just going to become useless. You know, me who likes to build around things all the time can see it working, but there's a lot of people that probably aren't going to want to do that, so I'm a little iffy on that as a first ability. Expanded spell list, detect magic makes sense, shield makes sense, see invisibility makes sense, silence is always good, counterspell is always good, dispel magic for this class makes sense, it's a little more situational, but when you need it, you need it. Freedom of movement, definitely, resilient spear, definitely, circle of power and hallow, yep, those all make perfect sense. Paladins don't get hallow by default? Oh wait, it might just be an always prepared thing. Like here, this will not count against your spell slot. No, paladins don't get hallowed by default. Every once in a while you'll get an expanded spell list that actually gives you spells that your class already gets, but they're like, you must take these, but they won't count against your list. Paladins don't... Okay, cleric only. Well, I guess paladins can swear oaths to things other than gods, so that makes sense, I guess. Spell Guard Strike. When you see a creature within your reach casting a spell with verbal, somatic, or material components, you can take a reaction to make a melee attack with a weapon or an unarmed strike against them. Just smack it. Stop casting that! This is going to be a very big polearm sentinel build type subclass between that and this. Because it's within your reach. Well, that's extending your reach. I guess fire button, no. Aura of Concentration. Your aura of protection fosters mental focus. You and your allies have advantage on Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration while in your aura of protection. You don't want the marshals to be worrying about concentration 90% of the time. And you don't want your spellcasters that close. But it's good when you're using it, though. Like, if the opponent is ranged and everyone's just using bows and spells, the paladin's, you know, now not useless and just sitting there helping everyone tank, it still feels more... Yeah, it's well-meaning and dumb. I'm feeling a bit of a miss here. I get what they're going for. I don't know that the game mechanically supports doing this without building around it, which I'm willing to do, but I know that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. Admittedly, well, just don't play the subclass, but still. Paladin playing lawful stupid, the ability. Spell Breaking Blade. Immediately after you hit a creature with your Spell Guard Strike, you can cast Counterspell as part of the same reaction. When you cast Counterspell with a spell slot, that slot isn't expended if the spell fails to stop a spell. So that chains with Spell Guard Strike. And, you know, gives you, you know, it makes sense, but at the same time, isn't this immediately causing a con save? Which doesn't cost a spell slot and can stop the spell on its own. I guess I said no. Fair. If the con save doesn't work, the counter spell is like the bigger no. That's fair. These do involve you being in melee with a spellcaster, which is a problem on its own. Again, see using things with reach, please. That's really important. Level 20. So this is what you've been building up to. This is your Fight the Gods power. As a bonus action, you can empower your aura of protection, granting the benefits below for 1 minute or until you end them, with no action required. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. You can restore use of this ability by expending a level 5 spell slot, again, no action required. Bodyguard. When the target of your guardian bond is in the aura, that creature has resistance to all damage. Protection from magic. You and your allies in the aura have advantage on saving throws against spells. Spell Ward. Spell attack rolls against you and your allies in this aura have disadvantage. This is very much, the Lich is casting a spell, everyone get near me, the ability. It is useful when you need it. When you need this, you're going to be happy you have it. But, it is very situational and doesn't feel great as a level 20 capstone. Don't have to cast the same person while someone else is casting it on your first target stern bar. Yeah, it's nigh impossible for this to be for Spellbreaking Blade to be counterspelling anyone but the person you're smacking in the face. You'd have to be in the middle of a very aggressive multi-reaction cast in order for that to happen. Yeah, this feels like it probably should be like a level 15 ability. I don't know. I feel like the Oath of the Spell Guard is a bit of a miss here. I can see what you're going for. You're basically asking the rest of the party to build around you. Some parties like to do that. A lot of parties don't like to do that. So we got a hit and a miss, which I still think is real funny so far that the hit is looking at monks and giving them sorcerers as a subclass. I'm not going to get off of that. A very meh class, I'm sure WotC feels on natural levels of positivity towards usually. That's usually how it goes. Magic Stealer. For the rogue, because they don't get to do enough magic things. Empower Sneak Attack. Immediately after a creature you can see within 30 feet of you casts a level 1+ spell. You can take a reaction, absorb magical energy from the spell. When you do, until the end of your next turn, the next time you hit with your sneak attack, you deal extra force damage. To determine the extra damage, roll a number of d6s equal to the spell's level, and add them together. You can take this reaction a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, and regain all lost expended uses when you finish a long rest. Anything that empowers a sneak attack is usually going to be very good. Rogues get like one big hit a turn, and if you can add more dice to it, it's gonna mean something when you hit. And sneak attack requires advantage, so yeah, it's gonna hit. I think that's a pretty good first round. Of course, this means that if you can somehow hang out like by the spellcasters, then run up and attack, then run back to the spellcasters, that's gonna work pretty well. Cleric heals the rogue. Rogue eyes start glowing and the smile is not kind. That's a good one. That's a good one. People just saying, alright, rogue, do your thing. Also at level 3, you get Drain Magic. You can drain power from ongoing spells to recharge your allies' magic. As a magic action, you can touch a willing creature and end one ongoing level 1 or level 2 spell on it. The creature immediately recovers one expended spell slot of level 2 or lower, the target's choice. Once you use this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. Just real quick, more short rest things. I know I'm a Warlock player, of course I'm obsessed with short rests. I just think they're an underused mechanic even when I'm not playing a Warlock. But that's interesting. Now, willing creatures, so you can't steal from enemies unless you charm them. But Mage Armor is a level 1 continuous ability that lasts for 8 hours. Well, if you think we're done with that, you can drain it back. But of level 2 or lower, the target's choice. Mage Armor is a level 1 spell. Drain a level 1 spell and give them a second level slot. I think that's gonna get nerfed. Oh, that's right! Oh my gosh, you're right. Warlocks get invocations that give them multiple permanent spell options. The Warlock can freely Mage Armor, Fiendish Resilience, Disguise Self, Alter Self, Silent Image. Those are also level 1 plus spells. Pair this with a Warlock, and you're going to be super duper powerful. Because the Warlock is just yeah, the Warlock is now his own coffee in a coffee lot. Oh my gosh. Hold on. That's wild. Holy crap. Oh my god. I'm sitting here trying to process this. Oh my. Now, this can be taken even... I gotta check something real quick. Now, Eldritch Adept was not added to the new... Yep, Mage Armor does not have a level requirement. Okay, so just Mage Armor doesn't have a level requirement. That's relevant because it means other people, including yourself, can take Eldritch Adept as a feat, which gives you 1 free invocation. Mage Armor doesn't require Warlock levels. Or Armor of Shadows doesn't require Warlock levels and gives you infinite Mage Armor. That's gonna be a thing. That's gonna be a thing. Sure, what happens when a Warlock stops having level 1 and 2 slots because you can't rogue up a 3rd level slot with that power, but you might still auto-convert it to sorcery points. I would say... That's a good point. Because if you're higher level... Once you hit level 5, Warlocks only have 3rd level slots. Just the 2. Here's what I would say. Because... Oh, wait a minute. That's right. There's a lot of stuff that does say, oh, it recovers or it affects or whatever for... Well, they will specify that Warlocks... always at their maximum level. This doesn't specify that. I would assume that this means that you do get the first or second level slot as a warlock. Because it doesn't say at the warlock's level. Because everything else says that. What I would say is, as the warlock only has 2 spell slots, that you can only have, that you're not getting more spell slots, because it does say recovers an expended slot. So I would say that if you cast your 3rd level spell, so you've only got 1 left, and then you mage armor or false life or whatever, and then you use this, now you have a 3rd level slot and a 2nd level slot. And you're going to want to fire the 2nd level slot off first, because then when you short rest, you get a 3rd level slot back. That's how I would interpret that. That's so powerful though, because that's infinite 1st and 2nd level slots. For some casters, that is so worth the 3-level dip. Because 3-level dip is a lot. 3-level dip is a fairly deep dip at anything but higher levels. But that could very well be worth the dip. Magical Sabotage. You gain the following cunning strike options. Spell Susceptibility for 2d6. Target has disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes against a spell till the start of your next turn. It's a level 18 feature wizard at level 6. It is. Technically at level 4. All you need is a single level of warlock in order to take the mage armor one. Now you're down to 1st level slots, but now you've gone from a single 1st level slot to infinite 1st level slots. Which, on its own, I'm going to make this build. Anyways. There's disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes against a spell until the start of your next turn. Now, that is a bit pricey, I'd say, but... I'm getting the cleric for perfect healing. Anyways. Oh my gosh. Yeah, clerics with permanent healing. A paladin that can smite every turn. If that's... If that stays, that's gonna be wild. Anyways, disadvantage on your next saving throw is... Watsy did not think that throw. God bless him for it. Anyways, target's disadvantage on the next saving throw it makes during a spell turn until the start of your next turn. You need to be a team player, which these already apply that you're a team player. Which, oh, wait a minute, that's true. Rogues are notorious for being played by people that aren't team players. And this is the team player subclass, unless you're Gishin like we are. Okay, I really like that actually. Anyways, at least I'm staying on subject to this as I get distracted. But yeah, this is definitely a setup for the spellcasters about to cast a nuke. Your job is to make sure it hits. Disrupt spell costs 3d6. The target's magical acuity is disrupted until the start of your next turn. Whenever the target casts a spell during that time, it must succeed on an intelligence saving throw where the spell dissipates with no effect. And the action, bonus action, or reaction used to cast it is wasted. Oh my god. This is a Lich Killer. If that spell was cast with spell slot, the slot is expended. Fair, but holy smokes, is this a Lich Killer. I mean, I cannot stress enough being able to... I mean, liches have high intelligence, but being able to disrupt their spells without using counter-spellable magic yourself is huge. Wizards are yawning. Everyone else has to hair. Fair with the high intelligence, but still. You could wreak some serious havoc on enemy casters, which are usually a major problem with that. Steel resistance. Choose one kind of damage. If the target has resistance to that kind of damage, until the start of your next turn, the target loses that resistance, and you gain... And that's the Devil Killer. That's for Devils and Demons. Yep. That's for Devils and Demons. Fiends in general. Yep. Because they all have fire resistance, and they all shoot fire spells. That's also not bad for various different dragons for similar reasons. Yeah, fiends and dragons. That's what this is for. This is best rogue class. It is. This is an absolutely insane rogue subclass, and rogues are already notorious for being very, very powerful. So, holy smokes. And we still have 3 more abilities to get through. Occult Shroud. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can cast the non-detection spell using Intelligence as your spellcasting ability. When you do so, you can target only yourself the duration... Okay, so you're just permanently under non-detection is what that's saying. Unless you get walk through an anti-magic field or someone casts Dispel Magic on you. That's what I'm getting out of this. You just permanently have non-detection. Moment while I get that up. I forget what level non-detection is. 4th? Is it 4th? Don't tell me it's 5th. Is it lower? Is non-detection lower? It is lower. It's 3rd. The duration. You hide a target that you touch from divination spells. Target can be a willing creature, or it can be a place or an object no larger than 10 feet in any dimension. The target can't be targeted by any divination spell or perceived through magical scrying. Now, that is less powerful than I remembered it being. It is also expensive, requiring 25 gold of diamond dust that you use when you cast it. But still, just permanent non-detection is what I'm seeing with that. Until someone dispels it. It's not as wild as these other abilities, but it's still like, really? Improved Drain Magic. You can now drain magic as a bonus action! Oh good, because that wasn't powerful enough! In addition, when you use Drain Magic, you can end one ongoing level 1, 2, or 3 spell on the target, and the target recovers one expended spell slot of 3 or lower in the target's choice. Okay, this almost has to be intentional, because it's the level 13 ability. Oh! That's right. These won't level with you. If you're multi-classing. Okay. So going a self-contained package, that's not as powerful. You can now remove curses in your allies to fuse spell power. Oh my gosh, you're right. Oh. Because the creature needs to be willing, not the magic. Admittedly, at levels 1, 2, and 3, you probably have answers to those kinds of curses. But still, yeah, you could just steal curses and give your friends magic in exchange. Now this one really is the you stayed in this class and did multi-class, here's your reward option. But still, that's, I mean, the drain magic is absolutely making you the spellcaster's favorite for sure. Anyways, Eldritch Implosion. When you use an Empower Sneak attack, alright, we're just empowering that again, you can force the target to make a Constitution saving throw. DC 8 plus Dex modifier plus proficiency bonus. On a failed save, the spell dissipates with no effect, and the target has the stunned condition until the start of next turn. So this is if you're stealing power from enemies. This, as at its base, this is, you know, you can get power from your friends as well. This is definitely stealing power from your enemies. Now, admittedly, it does say you can, so it gives you the option to. But you've got a built-in counterspell here. It's at level 17. And the fact that using Dex is, it's basically saying, oh, you're poking with the dagger or something. You know, you are physically screwing with them. Yeah, and at level 17 you're gonna need it, but if at level 17 you're like right next to the enemy, which at level 17 30 feet is right next to them, you're gonna have to be real careful. Because if they catch you with this, you are the primary target. True. I mean, it's not bad, though it's definitely the riskiest ability here. It is quite good. Oh, no, I'm going to snooze that. A moment. It wants to run an ad. Nope, I'm going to hit snooze. Only for 5 minutes, so oof. I might need to run an ad soon. Oh wait, no, we're on the last one. Aha! Never mind, we're on the last one. The Vestige Patron for Warlocks. The Vestige manifests, aiding you to do so. Oh wait, no, let's read what it is. Your pack draws on the power of a dying god, a being once worshipped by countless followers, but now abandoned and forgotten. This dying god, known as Vestige, might have been benevolent, evil, or strange and unknowable, but now it is driven to regain its former power. Vestige needs your help. It is willing to share its remaining strength with you. Rippy, take notes. I've got an idea. I already had a plan, but I've got a new plan. The Vestige manifests. Vestige Companion. The Vestige manifests, aiding you to do so and drawing strength from your pack. It uses the Vestige Companion stat block and is a celestial, fiend, or undead. Choose which when you gain this feature. You determine what the vestige looks like. Regardless of its form, the vestige bears features indicating supernatural origin. For example, you might decide a vestige is an oversized floating skull, etched with sigils, a circle of glowing runes, or a constantly shifting abstract shape. The vestige is friendly to you and your allies, and it obeys your commands. It vanishes if you die. In combat, the vestige acts during your turn. It can move, use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes is the dodge action unless you take a bonus action to command it to take an action in its stat block or some other action. You can also sacrifice one of your attacks. See what I said about the Beastmaster when you take the attack action to command the vestige to take the vestige's strike action. If you have the incapacitated condition, the vestige acts on its own, isn't limited to dodge function. That kind of stuff right there is why I say you can take the bonus action to tell it what to do if the plan changes and stuff, but it has to. Does it say how smart it is? Intelligence 15. You can make a battle plan and just have it executed. In an intelligence of 15, it absolutely knows and understands how to do it. It's smarter than the barbarian. When the vestige drops to 0 hit points, it disappears. You can spend 1 minute performing a magic ceremony to manifest the vestige again. It reappears with its maximum hit points in an occupied space within 5 feet of you. As a magic action, you could temporarily dismiss the vestige to a pocket dimension. As a magic action, while it is temporarily dismissed, it can cause the vestige to appear in an unoccupied space within 30 feet of you. Whenever the vestige drops to 0 hit points or disappears into the pocket dimension, it leaves behind in its space anything it was wearing or carrying. Now that means that you can have it wear stuff, you can equip it with things, you can carry it. It lets you choose what form it is. This is like what I want to do whenever I do stuff like Artificer Steel Defender. I'm going to make it either bipedal or a small centaur because then it has arms and hands. You can give it physical armor and weapons. The barbarian raises their finger, opens their mouth, closes their mouth, puts their finger down. You better believe it. Grog from Critical Role had 6 intelligence. That wasn't plus 6, that was just 6. He couldn't read. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can summon the vestige in a new form, which appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you. You choose its appearance and whether it's celestial, fiend, or undead. The vestige is already manifested from this feature. Its form changes to the new one. So yeah, we can work around this. There's a lot of flexibility there. More flexibility than the Beastmaster has. Which it has to stick to a beast form. This can be whatever. AC 13 plus charisma modifier, HP 4 plus 4 times your warlock level. So its base is gonna be 16. The number of hit dice equal to your warlock level. You found a magical haberdashery. Now vestige has 18 heads. Oh no. That does work, unfortunately, but yeah. Got crappy strength, 1 strength, 14 dex, 10 con, 15 intelligence, like I said, 15 wisdom, and 16 charisma. Resistance is if it's fiend, fire, undead, necrotic, celestial, radiant. That's pretty good for being able to pick and choose. And with this, you get the flexibility to prepare for the day. It's immune to being charmed, frightened, or prone. Oh, speed, 5 feet, 30 foot hover. That's pretty good, actually. That's actually decently strong. Dark vision 60, passive perception 11. Knows the languages you do, no CR. Pact bond, add your proficiency bonus, any ability check or saving throw the vestige makes. Any. There's some good stuff there. Vestige strike, melee or ranged attack roll. Bonus equals your spell attack modifier, reach 5 foot or range 60. Hit 1d6 plus 3, and then it does the same damage based on plus charisma modifier, and then it does the same damage based on what type it is. It can also use its divine power once a day. Your vestige manifests a remnant of its divine power in one of the following ways, based on its form. Cursed invocation. The vestige places a curse on a creature that you can see within 30 feet of the vestige for 1 minute. While cursed, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against you and the vestige. Fiendish swap. If you and the vestige are within 60 feet of each other, you can teleport, swapping places. That's powerful. The special Strixhaven Familiar does the same thing, and it's also a really powerful ability. Healing Touch, celestial only. The vestige touches another creature. The target regains hit points equal to 2d8 plus your charisma modifier and ends one condition, blinded, deafened, or poisoned. Okay, so yeah, so far this feels like a better Beastmaster, because you've got all of these abilities, and then you're a warlock. which gets screwed over by the casters, but not as badly as the Ranger does. Vestige spells. The magic of your Vestige companion ensures you always have certain spells ready. Select one of the following cleric domains: Life, Light, Trickery, or War. The domain spells for your chosen domain are Warlock spells for you. When you reach a Warlock level equal to a Cleric level listed on the main spells table for the domain you have chosen, you thereafter always have the listed spells prepared. Oh, so you just take their... I'm just gonna steal these. For example, if you have a War domain for this feature, you reach Warlock level 3, which is when you get this, you have Guarding Bolt, Magic Weapon, Shield of Faith, and Spiritual Weapon spells prepared. Hoi! WotC once again proves that Ranger is their most hated stepchild. It is, because that is also really good. Beastmaster Ranger doesn't even get an expanded spell list. Vestige Recovery. Your Vestige companion now regains use of its divine power whenever you finish either a short or long rest, or when you use Magical Cunning feature, which for Warlocks gets back 1 spell slot. Everyone else gets more. But that is also really good. That's a minimum of 2 for the divine power, if you're not taking short rests like most parties do. Aura of Power. Your Vestige companion increases in magical strength. As a magic action, you can cause the Vestige to manifest an aura in a 30-foot emanation that originates from the Vestige. The aura lasts a number of hours equal to your charisma modifier, or until the Vestige disappears or is temporarily dismissed. You, the Vestige, and your allies within the aura gain resistance to fire, necrotic, or radiant damage and have immunity to the charmed and frightened conditions. Oh wait, that's not or. You get resistance to all 3 and immunity. Once you manifest this aura, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. But that's huge. That's better than the Paladin bubble. What? I thought WotC hated Warlocks. Where's this coming from? In addition, when you drop to 0 hit points while within the aura, you instead change your hit points to a number equal to your Warlock level plus your charisma modifier. The Vestige is then dismissed into a pocket dimension. You can't return till you finish a long rest. Aura of Power. Step off Paladins. Wear the Nightmare to the Fae now. That's a wild ability. So, Rangers were always the most hated subclass as far as WotC was concerned, with Monks being next in line for the Marshals and Warlocks being next in line for the Spellcasters. This is a really strong power. Semblance of Life. Your Vestige companion continues to grow in strength, and with your assistance it can briefly adopt a more powerful form. Of course it can. Depending on the Vestige's type, you can cast one of the following spells while the Vestige is within 90 feet of you without expending a spell slot or needing material components. Summon Celestial, Summon Fiend, or Summon Undead, which is kind of neat. When you cast the spell with this feature, the Vestige becomes the summon... Oh, it transforms into it. So it's not 2 creatures, still just 1 creature on the field. Okay. The game's statistics are replaced by the summon creature stat block. The spell's level is equal to half your Warlock level, round down, maximum level 9. And the spell's duration is 1 minute, as opposed to an hour, which all 3 of those are as an hour. When the spell ends, the Vestige returns to its previous form. Once you have cast a spell this way, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. It is a nice way to have a more powerful ally. Still requires concentration. That really nerfs that ability. The 1 minute instead of an hour and concentration. Which, don't get me wrong, this is cool, and the rest of this is a pretty potent combination of things. Like I said, the fact that you can choose your Vestige's form on its own massively increases the potential if you get creative. This is probably the wimpiest of the abilities. But it's not bad. It's just one of those things where after how front-loaded everything else is, this is how we finish it? Because you can cast these as just like regular spells as a warlock. And they last for an hour. And they're both concentration. Okay, you make a good point. Spell slot level 9 summons for free once. That beats Paladin Megaform as you... Fair. Very fair. You are getting a pretty big upcast. So it is much more powerful than the base level, which is the only thing Warlocks can summon at. So that is a fair call. The concentration is still a little eh. The 1 minute is still a little eh. But you're right, it's better than the Paladin one, and the fact that you're at level 14, you're automatically upcasting to a 7th level minimum is pretty good. I'll take that. I will take that. I'm already getting ideas for possible runs on this, as well as a use in this in a game that I am DMing, because I was kind of homebrewing something as a possibility, and now this is like, oh, this is exactly what I need. I will take it as it is. Combine Vestige Warlock with the with the Rogue for maximum shenanigans. Still beating Watsy for their abuse of my 4 Vestige babies. They're still... Yeah, that's fair. So I cannot skip the upcoming ad. I don't think I have a lot more to add. I really like this. I think the Rogue is too powerful, but it could be worse. I think the Paladin could use a bit of a boost. I like the Monk and the Warlock options. I'm talking about how powerful this is, but again, because of how wimpy Warlocks are normally, this almost feels like it's a nice balancing act of, okay, your main class is kind of meh, here, have a great subclass. I'm looking forward to playing with all 3 of the 4. I'm usually not a Monk player or a Rogue player. This is enough to get me to try those. I'm definitely not a Paladin player still. Alright, we're going to take a couple minute break, then